Good afternoon, everyone. You're very welcome to today's webinar looking at using Read and Write to support EAL students. I can assure you I've double checked the schedule today and I'm definitely delivering the correct webinar, unlike yesterday afternoon. Thank you very much for pointing that out to me and saving the day. But today we are definitely here to focus on using Read and Write to support EAL students. So we're going to take a look throughout the course of the webinar today at what is contained within the Read and Write toolbar and the various options available so that students can customize to meet their individual needs and requirements. We're also going to look then specifically at the features that can support an EAL learner and indeed in what areas they can specifically support an EAL learner as well. Just some things in the presentation I want to take you through. First of all, I want to share with you, skipped on a few slides there. Just want to share with you my contact details. If you do happen to have any questions after today, any features that you perhaps want to learn a little bit more about, ask any questions about, feel free to do so using the contact details that are currently on your screen, and I'll be more than happy to help you out with that. The webinar today, like every other webinar in the schedule, is currently being recorded, so you'll get the recording in 24 hours time. So Friday evening at about 5 o'clock, you should expect to receive your recording. You'll be able to feed that to any of your colleagues that you perhaps think would benefit from using the features within Read and Write today. Feel free to share it with any students that you think would benefit from watching that as well. That video will be yours to use with whoever you'd like to share that with. As well as the webinar is live today, we want to keep things as interactive as possible. You've all joined in today to get tips on how you can maximize your use of Read and Write with your EAL students. If you do have a question for me or would like to see something in particular that you think we're going to cover today, feel free to type into the question panel in your GoToWebinar window currently on your screen. So click on question, type your question in. I'll keep an eye on that as we're going through today and hopefully we'll answer your question there and then, but certainly I'll be able to answer that before we finish up today. We aim to finish up at about 20 past 4 today. At that time, during that question and answer time, I know we didn't get an opportunity to do this yesterday because of running overtime. I'm going to give you a little bit of a tour of the website where you can access our training portal and all the training materials that are in there as well. So a lot of resources to help you along the way. So your EAL students, one of the categories they can fit into are your struggling readers and writers. It's very, very difficult, very, very intimidating whenever you're starting to learn in a language that isn't your first language. So today is all about providing you with tips and your students some tips on how they can use Read and Write to their benefit. So what we're going to look at today, we're going to look at reading resources, we're going to look at our vocab references, we're going to look at creating audio files as well to help your students. Obviously there in the middle, we've got our text-to-speech, which is vital, and that's what we're going to begin looking at. We've got prediction to help with writing. Once we've got some text on a Word document or on a Google Doc, we've also got spell check or check it to help out with any spelling errors that we have created as well. The last one there says underneath feedback, or feedback's underneath it, is our voice note, which is very, very important actually one for us as teaching staff whenever we're giving feedback to students, to always remember these students, to make it as clear as possible. What way are we giving our feedback? Can the student or should the student be able to understand what feedback I'm giving them all of the time? The voice note is a very, very good way of doing that in work, and that's one of the things that we'll be finishing up with this evening. So as a student progresses and they start to learn and English maybe starts to become their first language, they will start to listen first of all, using text-to-speech, using the audio maker within Read and Write, and they'll start to gain an understanding of what they're reading. And then they'll start to speak, and they can practice speaking, practice their pronunciation with features like the voice note, which we'll definitely be showing you today. And then I'm going to move across to the Google Chrome platform because I want to show you the talk and type within Google Chrome today, how it can help support your students speaking as well. Then obviously we've got reading. Okay, we've got an awful lot of text, and whenever we're starting to progress to gain an understanding of what we are reading, so we've worked on our pronunciation, we can pronounce everything that we're reading. Now we're wanting to gain a comprehension of what we are reading, and we can use features like the picture dictionary an image is more universal than the text itself or the dictionary definition. So we can maximize the use of the picture dictionary with our EAL students to help them identify and recognize terms by the image that appears in the picture dictionary. And putting it all together in a vocab table as well, just above reading. Vocab Table is a fantastic way to introduce your students to new topics, or perhaps topics or new terms within topics that they probably did understand in their first language, but everything's new to them, everything's a little bit different as they're now learning in English. And then, of course, the last piece of the puzzle, the last part that the student will become competent in is writing, and that would be with the assistance of using prediction to help students identify new terms that they could use in their text next, to help them with their writing and structure of their sentences, and of course translation as well. I suppose we're always trying to, with our EAL students, we want them to be learning in English, working in English all of the time. However, it is always nice to have that buffer, to have the option to translate into their first language, just for, I suppose, reinforcement and just for encouragement that they have written correctly in English. So that's a lot of the tools that we're going to be focusing on today and why we're going to be focusing on them. So let's take a look at our products in action. Of course, the first thing we are going to start off with, and the first thing that your students will aim to improve straight away, is their reading of English. Of course, just one last reminder, if you do have any questions, feel free to use that question panel, as I've mentioned already, in the GoToWebinar control panel that's on your screen. I'll be more than happy to take any questions at the end as well. So I'm going to close down my presentation for now. Don't worry if you missed my contact details. I'm going to put it back up again. You'll also have the contact details in the recording as well to view at a later date. So moving across to a Word document, just actually a comprehension piece that I've got here with some questions to use as an example that a student may use with Read and Write. The first thing that I'm going to talk you through is the text-to-speech, how the text-to-speech works. So a student can have any of this text read aloud for them simply by clicking where they want to begin reading in the Word document, followed by the play icon.
My name is Carmen and my husband's name is Alfred. Every day Alfred cooks breakfast for us. He likes to cook the bacon until it is crispy. I make the coffee while he fries the eggs. I like my eggs scrambled with cheese.
Okay, I'm just going to
stop his eggs sunny side.
Stop the text reading there. So what we can see there is we can see the dual highlighting colors following the text as it's being read aloud. We can see the voice, or hear the voice, sorry, we can't see the voice. We can hear the voice reading the text aloud. Both of those things that can be fully adjusted depending on the individual needs and requirements of the student that's using that. The voice, perhaps the speed of the voice is too fast. We can slow that down so that students can easier retain and process the information that they're hearing. And that's the purpose of the dual highlighting colors as well. The background color is highlighted, and each word as it's being read aloud is highlighted in that different color, which allows the student to track and process each word as it is read aloud. So that's the purpose of the text-to-speech, and that's how students can hear the correct pronunciation of these terms as well. And as we move throughout the webinar today, we'll be looking at how they can build in and use features such as the dictionary and picture dictionary to start to build a comprehension of what these words mean. Just to show you where we can adjust the voice that we're looking at, I know this is one of the areas we went into quite a bit of detail yesterday, so very, very quickly, I'm just going to show you in settings at the right-hand side, and in show more settings, this is where we can find all of our features where we can change and adjust the options. I'm going to click on speech because that's where we make any changes or adjustments to the speech that we're hearing. The voice, first of all, can be adjusted from the voice drop down. At the minute, UK Serena has been selected. We can select from a variety of different voices from that drop down as well. As I say, the speed of the voice is of vital importance. If the student is struggling to keep up with the voice, it's having very little, if maybe even a negative impact on them. So make sure that the voice and the student knows how to change the speed of the voice so that they can follow the text accurately. The arrow keys to change speed, that simply turned on means that the upward and downward arrow key can be used on your keyboard to either increase or decrease the speed of the voice as it's reading through the text. We can also add a word pause between the words as well, and increase or decrease the pitch of the voice as well. That's simply how we read any text and adjust the speech. Just show you where we find speech at again. So it was settings, and by clicking on show more settings, your contents table then will open up with all of the settings that you can adjust for each individual feature. There we go, there's our speech settings. Click on speech and we can then adjust any of the voices or any of the elements of the voice that we want to adjust. Now we only have to do that once, and that is the voice that we will continue to hear throughout the rest of the software, the rest of the features of Read and Write. Another feature that we may want to use as students get older, I suppose as we keep documents more and more secure, there may be an awful lot of PDF files to read. So certainly in FE and higher education as well, there would be a lot of PDF files for students to read. Also exam papers are kept in PDF format as well. So very, very important that we're able to read, including your students with English as an additional language, read PDF files. So to read a PDF file, to open a PDF file, simply click on PDF Reader, and it allows us to search through the folders in our system where we have a PDF file saved. So let's see, economics PDF. And just one slight difference when we're reading a PDF, we'll now see in our PDF Reader window, which I've just maximized, we'll see our click to speak tool on the left hand side. There's just a little hand symbol, and we can see it's turned on by the purple underline. It's just appearing underneath the hand, and that allows us, or that indicates that we're ready to go. So anything that I click on now is going to be read aloud for me.
Economics is more than a way to see patterns or unravel puzzling anomalies. Its fundamental concern is with the material standard of living of society as a whole, and how that is affected by particular decisions made by individuals and institutions. One of the ways of doing this is to look at economic policies and economic systems in terms of the incentives they create, rather than simply the goals they pursue. Differences in economic.
I'll press stop there just to bring that to an end. One thing to point out to you at this stage, whenever we have a PDF file open, if you want to use any of the other features of Read and Write within a PDF, just make sure that click to speak is turned off, and it allows you to highlight, to find a dictionary definition of any of these terms. It allows you to highlight them, and the text won't actually be read if click to speak is turned off. So just a little tip for you. I'm going to close down the PDF now. The next set of features that I'm going to look at are for any text that may be inaccessible, which again is a big part of our software, a big part of Read and Write. Not only do we want to be able to read the text and allow every student to read the text, we also want to be able to, in a situation where they come across something which is inaccessible, we want them to be able to make that accessible so that it can be read aloud. I'm just going to change over to a different Word document that I've got here to represent this. In the second page here, just make my screen a little bit smaller. In the second page here, we've got an image, a diagram of the various elements of a volcano, main vent, lava, crater. Now, I'm reading those as I see them on screen. If a student is struggling to read those, a student with English as an additional language, for example, is struggling to read that text, how can they possibly read that, as it's just an image containing inaccessible text? At this moment, there's no way I could highlight or click or access any of that text. What I can do, thanks to Read and Write, is use a feature called the Screenshot Reader. Now, I'm just going to take you to the Screenshot Reader settings while I continue to talk about the Screenshot Reader. The Screenshot Reader allows me to take a screenshot of an area of an image which contains text. It puts the image through an OCR, optical character recognition procedure, which will recognize any text within that image and then proceed to read that aloud. Your Screenshot Reader, like all the other settings contained within the contents, and just want to show you the different ways that we can capture the text and have it read aloud. So we can capture by drawing a rectangular box. We can also draw freehand as well, which allows us to draw around any images that are perhaps in a circular shape, containing text in a circular shape, rather than your perfect rectangle or your perfect square. I'm going to stick to drawing rectangle. That's what I tend to use for this text. All I then do is click on Screenshot Reader, and then simply draw a box around any of the text that I want to capture. Now, it's going to say in a second it's working on it. That means it's going through the optical character recognition.
A simple cross-section of a volcano.
Okay, and that allows me to read any inaccessible text. So for a student that perhaps wants to hear that read 3, 4, 5, 6 times even, the play icon remains in the corner so they don't have to draw and continuously draw that box every time they want to have this piece of text read aloud. They can simply
a simple cross-section of the volcano.
Click on the play icon and have that read again. Now, whenever they're finished, they can click on the little X to remove that. So one last time, click on Screenshot Reader. My cursor changes to a little black cross. Draw your box around the text you want to capture. OCR, currently being worked on, recognizing that text within the image.
Layers of ash and lava.
And the text is then read aloud. The play icon's a little bit hidden there, but we just find it underneath.
Layers of ash and lava.
And it's read aloud again for us. So that's a Screenshot Reader, and one way if you come across any inaccessible text, that's one sure way of being able to read it. Draw your box around it, OCR, and the text will then be read aloud for you. The scanner here, just beside the Screenshot Reader, has the ability to do something very, very similar, only on a larger scale. If I click into the scanner and give you a run through of how the scanner works as well for large documents, up to at least a page and beyond a page of text, the scanner works really, really well. We have various options with the scanner, well, 2 main options, not various options. We have the option to scan from a device, which is currently selected. You can see like an open flatbed scanner there. Or we've got the option to scan from a file, any file on your system. Now, there's 2 ways that our scanner works and 2 purposes for our scanner. The scanner is an accessibility scanner, which has the ability to make any text accessible. Again, like the diagram that we've just looked at in volcanoes, you may come across many PDF files and secure documents like that are just images containing text and very inaccessible for anybody that's using assistive technology to read that. You can scan them in using Read and Write, either by putting your hard copy through a flatbed scanner or taking a photograph of something with your phone and scanning it in using Read and Write, or any inaccessible file that you may have on your system already. You can select that file, you can turn it into a Word document as well. There's also the conversion scanning that can take place as well, scanning between formats. But that's the 2 main ways and the 2 purposes of our scanner: to make all text accessible by using that OCR technology, optical character recognition, to recognize all the text within the document that you're scanning. So allowing all students to be able to access and read the text, and also the element of conversion as well. You have the ability to convert a PDF file to a Word document so that you can make that fully editable. Now I'm going to close scanning quickly. I'll give you just a quick run through of how the scan works today. We've got, let me just check, yes, we can take this economics, and it's a fairly straightforward PDF, to be honest. Just to give you one last look at it, so we've got our economics PDF file. What I'm now going to do is I'm going to select the scanner. I'm going to select Scan from File, and I'm going to select that particular file, that economics file. So I'm going to go to my training materials and economics, and I'm going to turn it into a Word document. Okay, maybe not all 11 pages, but let's see the first page. And when I click on scan, the last thing I'll be asked to do is, what do you want to save your new Word document? So I am going to save it, economics scan. There we go. OCR, as we promised, currently in progress. So instead of now having an economics PDF file, we'll be able to have the Word document where we can edit any of the text within that and make any changes or adjustments quite easy using all the editing tools within Microsoft Word. So there we go, there's our new Word document, and as I say, I can fully edit any of that text as it's now in Microsoft Word. Obviously, I could then use the play icon to read any of the text as well.
Economics is more than a way to see patterns or to unravel puzzle.
Okay. And then close down the Word document whenever we've finished with it. Guys, the next thing I want to show you, we've looked at reading so far, reading Word documents, reading PDF files, reading inaccessible text, and looking at how we can convert between formats and make formats more accessible using the scanner. The next thing I want to show you is how students can use Read and Write to improve their speaking. The voice note feature here at the right hand side, we'll start off with students and then move on to what staff can use the voice note for. The voice note feature can be used by students to practice the fluency of their second language. It can be used to add additional notes on information around a topic as their tutor is perhaps talking about that during class, during a lecture. They can also use it to add reminders to add certain material into an assignment that they're working on, that they're drafting. But perhaps more effectively, I think the voice note can be used very, very effectively by staff to leave feedback for students when marking drafts of assignments, as well as taking away that repetitive nature of handwriting comments. A verbal comment also allows students, especially your EAL students, to understand that instruction that you're giving more clearly. Now I'm going to take you again into the settings of Read and Write and show more settings. I'm going to take you in and show you where the voice note settings are contained. There's two different types of voice note that we can leave for students. We can either leave a voice note directly in the text, so directly insert into the document by turning on that button, or if it's not inserted directly into the document, it'll be inserted as a comment on the right hand side of the Word document. So either way, it's going to appear somewhere in the Word document, either directly in the document, like I'm going to do now, or as a comment on the right hand side of the page. So how do I leave the voice note? Simply click where you want to add the voice note, click on the voice note icon. Now this does require accessing the microphone within your the device that you're using. So I'm going to click on the microphone, ready to record audio. Peter, that's a fantastic opening paragraph. Maybe you could provide a little bit more information on what active, dormant, and extinct volcanoes are. Press stop whenever you're finished, and whenever I click on insert, that voice note will be inserted where I had clicked on my cursor. There's the voice note, so I would save that Word document. I can maybe upload that to my VLE for a student to get their feedback and to make any necessary adjustments. So I could get my comment, click on open. Peter, that's a fantastic opening paragraph. Maybe you could provide a little bit more information on what active, dormant, and extinct volcanoes are. So that's one way we can leave the voice note. The other way then that we can leave the voice note directly into the text, if I click on show more settings, click on voice note and turn off insert directly into document. So click again, voice note, great opening paragraph as well. This time we're going to see the voice note in the column to the right hand side of the Word document. Click and stop and insert, and here we go, this time in at the right hand side. So it's just whether or not you want it to appear in the Word document where the mistake has been made, or if you're happy to leave that voice note in the comments section whenever you're continuing to annotate the student's work. So moving on to more auditory and reading assistance next in this little section. I'm going to go back to the comprehension piece that we were looking at. The dictionaries provide a definition of the word that was perhaps unfamiliar to a student, or if the student wants a little bit more reinforcement about the word. Text-to-speech is also embedded in the dictionary definition, which allows it to be read aloud. The picture dictionary provides the student with a visual representation of the word that they've selected as well. Perhaps they're a visual learner, or as EAL students today, that we're focusing on images are a lot more universal than the definitions themselves. So the dictionary is an excellent feature for students having difficulty identifying and processing the written and typed material they're seeing. So what we're going to do now is we're going to look at using the dictionary definition, and if we don't know what cheese slices are or sunny side up means, let's highlight, let's see the group of terms this time, click on the picture dictionary, and we can easily see what sunny side up means in the questions. A lot of students, with English as additional language may not have understood what that terminology meant. So another thing that we can do, simply click and drag and drop that into place beside the term that it represents. We can see that it's an egg sitting with the yolk sitting up. Fries as well, again, that maybe will be something unfamiliar to a student learning with English as an additional language. Simply click on the dictionary to find a dictionary definition of the word. And this is just a basic definition first of all. I'll show you advanced in just a second. Click on the definition followed by play.
1. Cook food in a pan using fat or oil. I like my eggs fried. Synonyms: fried, fry, frying.
Okay, so that gives us a definition quite clearly there of what the word or what fries mean. Clicking advanced, we get some more definitions appearing in there. Web dictionary will take us to a web definition of fries as well, where we can get extra definitions. We could then go to Google Images and find further images to support what we're writing about as well. So dictionary, picture dictionary, to provide dictionary definition and also to provide an image for what we're writing about. Just going into volcanoes again, just combining the dictionary and picture dictionary, we're going to create now a vocab list in connection with, I've got a study skill highlighter here on the toolbar as well. Just going to highlight some of the words that would be particularly tough for a student, perhaps maybe new terms for a student, or perhaps maybe terms used in a different way that the student maybe wasn't expecting, like crust in there, extinct, dormant, and we can go for erupt as well. So I've highlighted about 8 terms, there's 7 or 8 terms. What I'm going to do now is, these are words that I haven't quite gained a full understanding of just yet. I want to know a little bit more about them. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on the vocabulary list. And what's going to happen is a new vocab list is going to be created in a new Word document. There we go. Just taking its time today. With the word appearing in the left-hand side, the dictionary definition, and then the image appearing on the third column. Okay. So your students are getting their auditory. So if we want to have the dictionary definition read aloud.
A fissure in the Earth's crust or in the surface of some other planet through which molten lava and gases erupt. A mountain formed by volcanic material.
Okay. You'll get images. Crust. Oh, just going to stop the text reader.
Surface of some.
Right in there. Sometimes you'll get images in here that that aren't contextually relevant in this situation, but we can easily delete those as we are in Microsoft Word. That's how we can turn that into a vocab table. Just going back to show you how we did that one last time. So we've highlighted the words using our highlighter. Simply click then on vocab list, and that will convert all of those words into a nice neat vocab table for you. I'm going to erase any of those highlights just in case you're printing out this document and the highlights print out for you. We can just remove those so you don't have to have those on there. Moving to another document now, I just want to give you a quick idea about how our check it and prediction features work, and then we're going to finish up today by looking at a Google Doc very, very briefly as a couple of features I want to show you in the Google platform as well. So some mistakes that you can clearly see in this Word document that have been made. There's been some of them been underlined here by Microsoft Word, some in red, some in blue. Just going to ask you to watch to see what happens whenever we click on check it. Check it is the ability to check spelling, grammar, punctuation, homophones, any confusable words, verbs as well. So if I click on check it, what we're going to start to see is we're going to see the red and blue disappear for a start, and we're going to start to see lots of words being underlined in purple this time. There we go. It has started to take effect. Now we can see there's an awful lot more words that have been highlighted, or underlined, sorry, in purple. Now, what I'm going to do actually, the words can be corrected there and then within the document. So if I was to click on dear, for example, I can see that I've got that incorrect, and I should have been using the other version of the word dear. Now, there's an awful lot of purple underlines, as we can see there. It may be overwhelming for a lot of students to see that amount of mistakes. So you can see down here, we've got our little red box. Now, just by hovering over, we can see open check it window. So I am going to open the check it window in this case. So as our students, especially our EAL students who may be making a lot of little spelling errors at the beginning and may find or will find check it very, very beneficial whenever they are checking their written work. The check it window just pulls all of their errors that have been found in the document. It places them into a window where it allows the student to address each error one by one. So we can see here we're up into the 30s, 34, it stopped at 34. So just in one Word document here, we've got 34 errors, which is quite a lot of errors for a student. But in the check it window, it allows them to work through each error in turn by providing them with the alternative replacement words. So first one, homophone error there. Replace the word dear with the correct version, and if I slide down, we can see that that has been changed accurately in the background. This time a spelling error, and what's appearing here to help us out is a list of suggested words that I may have been trying to spell instead of the word that I misspelled. So there's my suggestions. Click on the word and I get a dictionary definition of the word that I've selected from the suggestion list. So I've found what I think it may be. Listen to the dictionary definition.
Two lenses in a frame that are worn over the eyes to help you see better. I think I need glasses. Synonyms: glass, glasses, glasses.
Perfect. So that's the word that I wanted to use. Simply select glasses, and again, that will be changed in my text behind. The student would just continue to work through the check it window until it had completed all of those errors, with the support of suggested words, with the support of the dictionary definition, and they can also have the support there of the picture dictionary. Just to show you very, very quickly, in fact, we will close that down. I want to move it across to the Google Chrome platform. Let's see, we'll just refresh the page. I'll close down Read and Write for Windows. Just for those of you that perhaps are using the Google Chrome platform, just 3 features left to show you. I know I said it would be finished up at 20 past 4, but will not be very, very much longer. Refresh the page. Just going to open up Read and Write for Google Chrome here by selecting the icon on the toolbar. Oh, there we go. I had it open. There we go. There we go. So the feature that I wanted to show you, the first feature I wanted to show you was prediction, in line with supporting your students' writing. There we have check it, the dictionaries, exactly the same features. So I'll click on prediction. What happens is a prediction panel appears as I start to type. So if I was starting to type a story, you can see that as I type O-N, the words start to populate in the prediction word panel that I could use next. Now you can hear me hovering over those words. They're read aloud once I hover over them. So click on once,
upon,
and it's inserted into the text. And the list of words in the prediction panel refreshes automatically in terms of what I'm writing about. So once, upon,
which, the, a, time, when, the, first time, son.
Okay, even if I was to close down prediction there, if I wanted to go back and have that sentence read aloud.
Once upon a time when the sun.
What I could then do is, after typing sun, I could go back into prediction,
sun,
and continue from there. If I wanted to go back, just to remind myself what I was writing about, typing about, where I had got to and how things were sounding to this point. So fantastic for helping with sentence structure, helping students with English as an additional language to be able to find the word that they're looking for in this new language that they're learning in. Another feature to support writing, which is particularly effective in my opinion in Google Chrome, is the Google Chrome Talk and Type. There we go, so the little headset with the microphone hanging down, and once the microphone goes red here, it is going to, or I'm going to dictate into the microphone what I want to type. So I'm just going to copy out the first sentence of this document. A volcano is a conical hill or mountain formed by material from the mantle being forced through an opening or vent in the Earth's crust, full stop. Okay. So that's just simply dictating. It is online, does require internet access within this platform, but fantastically accurate there. I think it's only got, perhaps maybe the only mistake that you could pick out there is the capital H on hill from that entire sentence. So just to show you that one more time, it was just a case of clicking where we want to begin to dictate. Click on Talk and Type. What are active, dormant, and extinct volcanoes? Question mark. There we go. So we can add in our commas then after active. So very, very accurate and a very, very good way to support your students whenever they're starting to write, especially if they're speaking of the language is becoming an awful lot better. The last feature, guys, I really appreciate your patience as I have went over slightly over time today, is the audio maker. We had talked about, I suppose at the beginning, text to speech. Audio Maker allows you to create text to speech and take it with you on the move wherever you are. One of the things that I would use the Audio Maker for quite a bit is lengthy notes and things that I would have that I have to read, perhaps listen to them in the car. I would save them to my Google Drive all of the time. You could do exactly the same thing on your OneDrive as well. All you do is highlight the text that you want to listen to on the move, on the go, and click on the Audio Maker. Now you'll see the little blue bar, little progress bar, allowing me to see and check what my progress is of my MP3 file that I'm creating. There's Audio Maker, and in case you're wondering what folder that's going to be saved to, it's going to be saved to your download. Click on Audio Maker, and a bit like with Voice Note from earlier, it's now an MP3 file.
What is a volcano? A volcano is a conical hill or mountain formed by material from the mantle being forced through an opening or vent in the earth.
So that MP3 file can be put on your smartphone, smart device, Google Drive, OneDrive, and literally listen to wherever and whenever you want to listen to that. So students are wanting to listen to correct pronunciation of terms as they're learning the language. It's a fantastic way for them to do that. Guys, thank you very much indeed for joining me today. Sorry I did go slightly over. As promised, I just wanted to put up my contact details if you did have any questions. Perhaps maybe you want to listen to the recording first of all, and then maybe some questions will come out of that. But feel free at any stage, feel free today to take down my contact details. And if any questions do come into mind between now and getting the recording or after you've watched the recording, feel free to get in touch. We'll be more than happy to help you out. I'm going to stay online just for another few moments. If you do have any questions, feel free to type them into that question panel. Unfortunately, all microphones are muted on these live webinars, but type your question into the question panel and I'll keep an eye out for any questions coming in and reply to those as soon as they do. Thank you very much.